Hey, what's up guys, Carlo here, and today I'm doing a long overdue video comparing the differences between a genuine pair of winning boxing gloves and a fake pair of winning gloves. I have a pair of dead stock 8-ounce lace-ups as well as a fake pair of 10-ounce lace-ups I purchased on eBay for $100. The seller username I got these from is It Wasn't Me 37. I'll put their information on the screen so you guys don't make the mistake of buying any fake gear from the seller. Aside from fake winnings, they also sell fake no boxing and no life and fake Grant boxing gloves. One thing to keep in mind, anytime you're online, especially websites like eBay, you have to be careful of who you're buying your gear from. Oftentimes, the photos they use on the gear they're selling is going to be the stock photos from like the winning website or the stock photos from the Grant website to make it appear that they're actually selling genuine equipment when they're really not. So I would always tell you guys, if you're unsure, send them a message and say, hey, can you send me a photo of the gloves with maybe your username on a piece of paper right next to the gloves. That way it shows you proof that you're getting a genuine pair of gloves. The other thing, which is kind of a dead giveaway, is going to be their seller feedback. If they have a lot of negative feedback or any kind of negative feedback and the comment is, I purchased winnings from them and they came in, they were fake, that's going to be a big red flag. If customers are saying that the gloves they're receiving are fake, I would definitely avoid them. So both their feedback, their photos, or if they don't communicate very well, like if you send them a message and they're like, they either ghost you or they avoid sending you any kind of photos with maybe their name next to the gloves or the equipment, to me, those are big red flags. So aside from the visual part, which we'll discuss here in a second, that way you guys know what to look for. So before we talk about the gloves, one thing I want to mention is anytime I've purchased a pair of genuine winning gloves, I've always received them in a winning box. So the box is where the gloves will come in. There's going to be plastic on the inside, but it is a cardboard box that says Winning Fighting Sports World. You have the logos all around the perimeter of the box. You can see it says winning on that side, and then it has the Japanese script. And then you also have the serial number sticker on the outside edge of the box. And that's not to say that companies can't replicate this box and make a fake version. But to be honest, that's going to be a lot of work, extra work for them to do just to make cardboard boxes that say winning to send their gloves in. Typically, fake winning gloves like the ones I have here just came in a cheap bag or just a standard post office box rather than this winning box. So that's going to be kind of your first indicator of authenticity, is going to be this winning box. Now, let me go ahead and put the gloves next to each other so you guys can kind of see how they look next to each other. So first things first, you'll also notice that one of the gloves from the genuine pair will always have this tag in Japanese writing, and this is basically the warning label that boxing equipment usually has, like, hey, using this equipment, we're not liable. You're participating in a combat sport, you can get hurt, etc. So winning will always include this tag that has a little elastic string that is tied onto the laces. If it doesn't have that, again, that's going to be kind of a key indicator of authenticity if you're buying them brand new. Now, if you're buying a pair of used winnings, it probably won't come with this tag because, again, they were already used. So that's going to be one of the big indicators, is going to be this tag where the fakes do not come with that. Now, visually looking at the gloves, one thing you'll notice is how much larger the fake pair of 10-ounce gloves are. Now, yes, they are 10 ounces, so they're 2 ounces heavier, but a genuine pair of 10-ounce gloves from Winning will be almost the same size as the 8 ounces, maybe a hair larger, but you can see that these are massive compared to the 8-ounce gloves. I mean, that right there alone shows you how big they are compared to the genuine pair. You'll also notice the shape of the glove. The shape of the fakes have that kind of that standard Pakistan cut. And by the way, the fakes are made in Pakistan where the genuine gloves are made in Japan. But you'll notice just the overall shape of the glove looks very generic, like your standard generic Pakistan-made glove. It doesn't have the same shape of a winning glove. You'll notice the thumb looks different, the finger compartment looks a little bit different, and just the angle and the taper of the cut of the winning glove is overall different as well. So you'll notice that. Next is going to be the grade of leather. One thing about winning leather is that it has a very smooth, soft, supple feel, and the texture on there, you can see it has that kind of that smooth grain to it. Fake will have kind of just regular, that more satin-like finish, kind of the same type of leather that you find on most run-of-the-mill Pakistan-made gloves. It's not necessarily a bad type of leather, but it's definitely not winning when it comes to the type of leather they use. So there's obviously a key difference in the texture and feel of the leather aside from the sizing. Next thing you'll notice is the logo, another big dead giveaway. So the logo color on authentic winnings will have more of a royal blue color with the winning font. You'll see the blue here. And then the blue on the fakes will be much darker, almost like a navy blue. You also notice that the letters are way off. You'll notice the eyes on the fakes are much skinnier, where it's much thicker on the authentic. You also notice that the font spacing, you'll see it says Fighting Sports World, and there's a huge gap between World and the G, where this is all connected and it's very nice and compact and clean. They both say the same thing since 1937, but the spacing is way off and the coloring. You also notice that the red on this triangle is a brighter red, where the red on here is darker. The oval that goes around it too is double lined, but on the fake, the lines are much thicker. So you can see how much thicker the line is. And then on the genuine pair, they're thinner and just much cleaner looking, where this one looks like it has a little bit of bleeding. And the oval itself is larger too. So authentic pair of winning, you'll notice that the oval is much smaller and closer to the lettering. The spacing between the gaps right here, you can see how much more of a gap there is compared to the genuine. Another big dead giveaway. Any 8-ounce or 10-ounce glove, which is going to be the winning MS200s, a 10-ounce pair of winnings are called the MS300s. But both 8 and 10-ounce winning gloves will always have the additional yellow circle, or beige if you want to call it. And I guess you can call it off yellow or cream, whatever. That will say 8-ounce official and will say made in Japan. So technically, since these are a 10-ounce glove, these should also have that yellowish circle that says 10-ounce official made in Japan. And again, a big dead giveaway that these are not authentic winning gloves. So the oval. Next, coming down to the wrist section. If it isn't obvious to you already, the wrist padding is way different. The fake has this additional block pad, and it may be different. There's other counterfeits out there that try to replicate it. You'll notice that it has double stitching. Winnings have one single stitching that they reinforce on the outside edges. So you can see that they kind of come over and it's not very clean. You also notice that winning has longer stitches with bigger spacing in between. So they don't use as many needle poke-ins as, or should I say the sewing machine doesn't poke into the leather as much as the fake ones do. You can see how many more times the stitches go through on this one compared to the winnings. Now, the patch, another big one. Coloring, you'll see the fakes, again, much darker navy blue, and the red is darker, where the authentic is more of a royal blue with a lighter red. The font is definitely different as well. Looks very similar, but it is different. You'll notice that the G on the fakes doesn't have that curl like the authentic version does. And then lastly is going to be the fake is made out of plastic. Huge big dead giveaway is this plastic patch. All genuine winning gloves use a rubberized, smooth kind of satin patch. You'll never find a plastic patch stitched onto the back of winning gloves. And then you'll notice just kind of overall craftsmanship on these Pakistan fake winnings are not going to be as clean. You can see the stitching is pretty bad. And then the back wrist support too. So you'll notice the wrist support on genuine winnings are going to be maybe about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of medium density foam padding. And it may be thicker on a fake pair. So that's a big key indicator, is going to be that. Now rotating to the palm side, next thing is going to be the liner. Genuine winnings will always have this dark navy blue liner. If you're colorblind, it may look black to you, but it's dark navy blue. You also have the 8-ounce winning tag on the inside of the gloves. And the fakes are gonna be any other color. It won't be navy blue, although I'm sure they could try to do it. But typically fakes, again, they'll use what's readily available in their shop. And this one, in this case, this is gray. So another dead giveaway is going to be the liner. You also notice, again, craftsmanship of winning gloves of genuine is cleaner. You can see the stitching on the cuff and the piping is done much cleaner. You don't have any threads that are kind of ripped apart or kind of coming apart. You can see that there's over stitching right here. So just the overall cleanliness and stitching is much better. Next up is going to be the laces. Genuine winning boxing gloves always come with round laces and they do not have plastic tips at the end. You have that and it's just a cut end when it comes to the laces. That is all genuine winning gloves. I've never got a pair of genuine gloves from Winning that were not like this style laces. The fake pair is going to be your standard flat laces with plastic tips at the end. So again, another dead giveaway. Coming to the palm side, I'm sure you guys see it already, but the stitching. You'll notice that the way Winning is, again, very clean, and the stitching is much wider, the stitch pattern. Where the fakes is much closer together, the grouping of stitching is much more closer, and the stitching is just completely different. You can see how Winning stitches on the inside of the laces and then on the outside as well, just one time, where you have it on the inside here on the piping. So you can see it has red piping on the fakes. The piping is not stitched into, the piping is completely untouched on the Winning. On this one, then it has a double stitching, where this one is a single stitch right there. Piping is a big one. You'll notice that the Winning piping is that rolled leather. It's much more pronounced, where the fake has a synthetic material that they use for the piping. Another big dead giveaway. Coming to the grip bar, genuine Winnings will say 8 and then just OZ. It'll just say the number with OZ, which is the abbreviation for ounces. And same thing here, 10 with the OZ, but you'll see that the spacing and the font is completely different between the two. So the font on the letter, you'll notice that the Z is way off, as well as the O. And also the genuine pair will have a little bit of a black outline on the font. The grip bar is very pronounced, although again, that could be replicated pretty well by the fake version. But again, just look for the nice pronounced grip bar. And again, the double stitching around the grip bar, between the two, you'll notice that the Winning, again, the stitching is much wider and larger. So look out for that. The attached thumb right here on the fake pair, and then the attached thumb on the genuine pair. What did you notice? The genuine pair of gloves do not have stitching, and it's going to be black. That leather is going to be black, where the fake pair is going to be the same color and it's going to be stitched through. You have piping around the thumb that is both white on both sides. You notice that the piping on the fake pair is much flatter, where the genuine pair has kind of a raised feel to it compared to the fake. So the fake is much flatter, where the genuine pair is much more raised. Then the thumb position. You'll notice that Winning gloves have kind of a rounded look to them, both in terms of the hand compartment as well as the thumb. And you'll notice on the genuine pair, the thumb is kind of rounded, and then towards the tip of the glove, it kind of rounds off, or should I say the tip of the thumb, it kind of rounds off and it has a slight curvature to it. With the fake pair, you'll notice that it's a lot flatter looking, and you can see that just the thickness of the foam is much more squared off, where the Winning is more rounded and tapered. So you'll see that there's just kind of that ledge on the fake pair that just drops off. You can essentially feel it with your finger there, where this one is much more rounded over. And the same thing with the finger compartment. You'll notice that the finger compartment on the genuine Winnings, again, is very clean and is rounded off. Where the fake pair is done pretty well, it's clean, but it has, again, a much more pronounced lip to it, more of an edge to it. They're more edged out. The fake pair are more edged, and that's the kind of foam that they're using. That's the difference. Where see here, you don't really have that edge. You don't have that line where the foam is at. So very important to look at those things. And then again, the overall craftsmanship. Just look at the quality of the gloves, put them on the scale. They'll always be on weight. Weight's kind of a bad indicator because you know, the fakes can be on weight as well. So I wouldn't necessarily use weight as a huge determining factor compared to all the other factors that you're using. But you'll notice just again, the cleanliness of the gloves, the stitching, the leather, everything looks really good on a genuine pair. And then lastly is going to be the type of foam. Now this can vary just depending on the fake manufacturer, but in this case, this is a genuine pair, I'd say is more medium to firm. So they use a layered foam padding on this. Not necessarily a bad glove, just not winning, right? You can still use these for training and they'll do fine. A genuine pair of winning gloves uses polyurethane. And you'll notice that it has a much more softer, pillowy-like feel. Not hard, not stiff, not dense, definitely not molded foam where it's extremely stiff. And you should be able to use your thumb and push into that foam. Even when they're brand new. This is a brand new pair. I've never used these. These are dead stock. And they're gonna stay that way. Certain gloves I like to collect. So you could feel that and it feels really soft. The more you compress it in, it kind of firms up, but there's definitely a softness to it. So those to me are gonna be just the key indicators and what I would look out for when you're purchasing a pair of winning boxing gloves. I know there's gloves out there that are super cheap on eBay for $100 that have kind of the generic winning photo, and some of you guys may be tempted to purchase those, but do yourself a favor and spend a little extra money. If you really want a pair of winnings, then save up, budget for it, and get yourself a genuine pair. But these are little things I would look out for. You know, obviously when I mentioned earlier, you're sending the seller a message to validate. If they're a legitimate seller, they will be more than happy to, you know, grab a pair of the genuine gloves and, you know, write their name on it, their username, and stick it on the gloves and take a photo and send it to you. That would be no problem for them to do that. But if they're avoiding doing that, then that's definitely a red flag. So hopefully these tips will help you guys out in making sure that you guys get yourself a genuine pair of winning boxing gloves and not fall into the trap of getting fakes or counterfeits. Not only will it save you guys some money and time, but it'll also save you guys from the anger that comes from buying a pair of fake gloves and not getting what you paid for. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comment box, and I will see you guys next time.